Hey everyone, welcome to my channel or welcome back. My name is Kylie and today we are doing my first in what might end up being a series in my bedtime chit chat, or I don't know, I'm still debating on the name. But basically it's late at night. I don't have a lot of time in my life to film, so sometimes I am filming videos like 11:30, 10 o'clock at night, you know, like it's late. And so I got cozy. I'm in my pajamas. I literally let my hair down, which like this happens like twice a year, so you're blessed. I don't drink. I don't even know what to do with my hair. Like it's just, it needs to be in a ponytail. Anyways. So I have a mug of milk and some cookies to snack on here, and a candle and a blanket, and I'm just very cozy. Today I wanted to talk to you about how I made BookTube friends. When you see larger creators do Q&As, they are very often asked, how do you make friends in BookTube? How do you make bookish friends? How can I make bookish friends? Variations on that question. I have bookish friends that I have made in the community. I have been a part of BookTube and the online book community since June 2018. And I have very good friends. I have people that I call best friends that I have met on here. And so I'm going to start by telling you about my friends and how we met, so that I can basically prove to you that the tips that I'm going to give you in the second half of the video actually work, because they worked for me. So, just getting my notes. I wrote a lot of notes. Okay, so I'm obviously not going to talk about like every single one of my friends, because I have a lot of friends, but my best friends, my very, very best friends, are Zoe from Reader B and Shelbi from What's My Page Again. Shelbi, her YouTube channel is mainly only plan with me or planning flip through videos now. She was blogging for a while, but she's mostly just around on Twitter. Zoe is still doing videos, but she's on hiatus, I think, for a bit here because she's moving. She just bought a house. So yay. So the very first time, I don't remember if I subbed Zoe first or Zoe subbed me first. I'm not sure what order that happened in, but I know that the first time that her and I really talked was, I have a video about little libraries like in my community, and Zoe commented on that video and we had a conversation, and from that time we really started to be friends. And then on one of her videos, I think that Shelbi commented, I'm going to put the receipts up here so that you can actually see, but I think that Shelbi commented and maybe asked if Zoe wanted to read something with her, like one of the books from the video. And I was basically like, can I join too? And from there, I was like, once we all agreed, I was like, okay, how can we talk to each other? Because like this seems inconvenient, like in the comments of a video. And Shelbi suggested that we move over to Twitter. And at that point, I didn't have a Twitter yet. So it was because of Shelbi and Zoe that I created a Twitter account, or reactivated mine old one, and started on Twitter. And yeah, we immediately jumped into each other's DMs. And so to this day, Zoe and Shelbi are my really two of my very best friends. We haven't met each other in real life yet because I live in Canada and Zoe lives in the UK, and Shelbi lives in Ohio in the US. But we are hoping that BookCon 2020 is going to change that. Another good friend of mine is Alex from Alex Black. Alex has supported my channel from the very beginning. She commented on all my videos when I was first starting, and we have buddy read a lot of things together, like just in the last year. We're meant to be buddy reading something right now, but it just turns out to be a book that really wasn't for me, so I'm not DNFing it, but I cannot keep up with the pace of the buddy read, so just doing it at my own pace. But yeah, me and Alex are buds, and we message each other pretty regularly. Another friend of mine is Lela Claire. She sporadically makes videos, and she's also on Twitter. So I think what happened with this one was I tweeted out maybe like a TBR, or maybe just like a list of books that I wanted to read. And I actually said in the tweet that I'm looking for buddy reads. Like, anyone who wants to buddy read these books with me, let me know. And at the time, like, I didn't really have, like, I mean, I still don't have. I think right now I only have 500 and some followers. But, like, I had way less back then. And Lela liked that tweet. And so what I did was I commented on the tweet and I tagged her. And I said, okay, what book do you want to read? Assuming that her like meant that she was interested in buddy reading. And so I basically peer pressured her into being my friend and buddy reading a book with me. I don't remember what we actually... Maybe that was the start of the ACOTAR buddy read that me, her, Zoe, and Shelbi all did. I can't remember like what book it was. But there was only one book on the list that she already owned, and she was on a book buying ban, so that's the one that we ended up reading together. And yeah, like, Lela's so awesome. I love her so much. Okay, so I got a few ones. So, another friend of mine, Abby, she has a channel called Abby Mac Reads, I think. Abby's from the UK, and, yeah, I think basically she just, at the end of most of my, when I was doing videos before my hiatus, I did dedicated TBR videos every month, like, and at the end of every video, or the beginning or whatever, I always said, you know, if you're interested in buddy reading anything with me, please comment down below. Like, I'm open to buddy reading with anyone, anything, anytime. And yep, she saw something on my TBR that she liked. I believe it was The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, and she just commented and asked if I want to buddy read that, and I was like, yes, 100%. And yeah, so we're friends. We buddy read that and the sequel to that, and then she's part of this group buddy read of The Goldfinch with Alex that I'm doing right now. Rachel Marie from Rachel Marie's Book Journey is another good friend of mine, and we very first started jumping into each other's DMs when we were involved in a group buddy read of Cinder from the Lunar Chronicles, which was last year in September? I think September 2018. And that's when we first, like, were talking to each other in our DMs and things like that. And from them it just evolved. Like, I love Rachel so much, and I support everything that she does. She creates awesome readathons, and she's a part of a lot of things in the community. She has live shows, like, all the time. She has her own book club. She's just great. And yeah, most of we just talk about whatever. And we buddy read things together sometimes. Yeah. And the last friend that I'm going to talk about, but certainly not the least, is my friend Taylor. And she has a channel called Books and Boarding Passes. And I wasn't quite sure which readathon. We were participating in a readathon. And there was a group buddy read chat on Twitter for, I want to say Six of Crows, but I'm not confident on that. And as can sometimes happen in group chats, I think me and her went off on a tangent, and we were talking about the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. And I guess I don't usually care, but I guess Taylor felt bad for like exploding everybody's phones with her and my conversation. So she started like a private chat with just her and I. And so basically what had happened was we were reading the series at the same time. We were almost like at the same spot in the series. So I think we ended up reading the last two books together, Tower of Dawn and Kingdom of Ash. And from then on, you know, we support each other. We chat with each other every once in a while. She's a great friend. She's really funny. You should check out her videos. I love her so much. So those are my real friends that I made on BookTube using these tips that I'm going to give you now. You know, this is a topic that I'm so passionate about because my friends and this community are so important to me. In the last year and a half, you know, since I joined the community, I have gone through some traumatic events. I found the courage to leave my unhealthy marriage. And in the last 6 months, I've had to find a lot of balance as I figure out who I am outside of that marriage and as a single mom and all of that. So without my friends in the community, like, it would have been a lot harder than it has been. Like, that's like 100%. I've always had all of their support, and this community is always there for me. You know, even people that even people who are only just my mutuals on Twitter, always have something nice to say. And so, I want that for everybody. I want all of you to find your people who will love you and support you and stand by you, through, you know, good times and bad times in life. And I want you to find other bookish nerds who are gonna laugh with you and cry with you and share your interests. So if you feel lonely in this community and you want more friends, then this is for you. Try out these things. Like, I have used them. It works. It works. I promise. Okay, so the first thing is, if you are not already on Twitter, you need to be on Twitter. I can't speak for Instagram. I know that most people are on Instagram too, but I am not on Instagram. I just can't handle that many social media accounts. But in my opinion, like, the book community is massively active on Twitter. And I feel like if you have to join one social media site, like, you don't have to be a booktuber to make bookish friends, to make friends who are booktubers, or book bloggers or whatever. You don't have to be a blogger. You don't have to, like, there's a lot of things that you don't have to do, but I feel like if you are at least on Twitter, you increase your chances. You can talk to a lot of people. So create a Twitter, reactivate your Twitter, like, whatever you have to do, and then follow your favorite creators, your favorite authors, your favorite readathons. Follow all of that, because even though those people aren't going to end up being your friends, or maybe they are, you never know. But that's where you'll meet other people through. So start with that. create a Twitter. But then also, point number 2 is tweet and comment on things. So you have to talk to people to make friends. Like, there's no other way. Like, you can't make friends without sharing things about yourself. You know, like, it's just something you have to do. So once you have a Twitter, you need to just occasionally tweet out your bookish thoughts. Like, you know, take pictures of new books that you buy, or, you know, if you're reading, you're reading a book and there's a really good quote, post a quote and all that. And it doesn't have to be, it's not rocket science. It's not, you know, don't overanalyze it. Like, oh, you know, that was stupid. I shouldn't have posted that. No, just post your bookish thoughts. If it's bookish, just post it and people will like it. And, when people see that you're bookish, they'll start following you, if they're bookish, and, you know, and that's just what happened. And then if you are a watcher of BookTube, or you have a small BookTube channel, what you need to do is you need to, find other small creators that are, you know, like on your same level, and you need to watch their videos and comment on their videos in a way that creates a conversation. Like how Zoe and I and Shelbi and I were talking and having full conversation in the comments of somebody's video. Ask questions, give recommendations if you have them. You know, like when you're watching the video, if you have a thought or something, type that out when the video is done and post it. Yes, okay. So then number 3, if you struggle coming up with things to talk about and you just like feel awkward, you know, like jumping into somebody's DMs and just like talking about your life or whatever, you have to try buddy reading. If you haven't tried buddy reading, this is really a great way, because you don't have to come up with things to talk about. You're meant to talk about the book that you're reading. And so if you don't know what buddy reading is, basically it's when 2 or more people agree to read a book together over a period of time. So normally when I do it, we kind of split the book into sections. We'd talk to each other and decide about how many pages we're comfortable with reading every day. And then one of us would go through the book and split it up, and there'd be like a schedule. So, you know, on Monday we're going to read chapters 1 to 4 and then talk about it. And Tuesday, you know, 5 to 8 or whatever. And so, you know, you're reading the same book together with somebody, and you have a reason to keep bothering this person, keep talking to this person every day, for a week and a half, 2 weeks, however long you make it, you know? And, of course, when you talk about things in the book, you can obviously segue into talking about things in your personal life and making a real connection. So yeah, like it's not hard. Lots of people in the bookish community are interested in doing buddy reads. Even if they've never done them before. I've come across people who, you know, say that they always wanted to do a buddy read, but they didn't really understand what it was or how to find somebody. So, like, it's pretty easy. It can be as easy as, like, what I did to befriend Lela, and I literally just tweeted out a list of books and said, you know, if anyone is interested in buddy reading any of these with me, you know, comment or DM me. And she didn't even comment or DM. She just liked the tweet. And then I just bullied her. And I mean, you can do that. But obviously don't make somebody uncomfortable. But like, if they like your tweet, then maybe they are interested, and you should try it out, because Lela and I are friends now and it worked. So then another way to find people with similar interests and also get involved in buddy reads a little bit easier is use readathons. So readathons usually combine at least, like everyone loves reading, but readathons add an extra interest or element into it. So like the Gilmore-a-thon that's going on in October this month, there you'll find people who love reading and also love Gilmore Girls. So if you're participating in that readathon, then you at least have two things in common with someone else participating in that readathon, so especially the bigger readathons or the team-based readathons, it's becoming popular to have a Discord associated with a readathon. Discord is, I think, traditionally used by gamers to chat with each other, like while you're playing your video games. But I have seen it used for quite a few readathons. And I think it's popular because you can have quite a lot of people in the same chat. Whereas like with Twitter, if we wanted to have group chats for each team per se, I think Twitter is limited to about 50 people in the same chat. So if you're on in a readathon and they have a Discord server, you should pop over there, download it, click the link, whatever, and just check it out, because it's mostly just people who are participating in the readathon talking about what books they're reading and stuff like that. And often before the readathon starts, when everyone's still hyped up and creating their TBRs, people will post their TBRs, and then other people will say, hey, I'm reading that too. And that is how the group chat for Six of Crows got created, and I met Taylor in that group chat. So yeah, join readathons, join the Discord if there's a Discord, tweet out your TBR, and at the readathon, hashtag the readathon, like do it all. If you're interested in finding a buddy read during your readathon, go to the Readathon's Twitter page and scroll through, because the readathon will retweet other people's TBRs, so you'll get to see people's TBRs, and you'll be able to see if you're reading the same thing as anybody, and then just comment on it and ask them if they want to buddy read it with you. It's actually pretty common too for readathons to include a buddy read as a challenge, so that's even better if you see that. I know Zodiac-a-thon had a buddy read has had a buddy reading challenge, I think, the last couple of times that it ran, as well as Val-Lit-Tines, that was back in February. Yes, okay. So, I think that's pretty much my tips. I did have another example that I just wrote down at the bottom here. Recently, like this month, I decided to read Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. And I binge read the whole trilogy. And in the first book, I was basically looking for someone to scream to. And so I just posted that on Twitter. And it was like a really, like, I don't know what to call it, like a successful tweet. It didn't like blow up or anything, but I had at least 6 to 8 people comment on it. And most of them I had not really spoken to before, like were mutuals, but we never buddy read anything together, or really talked to each other. Like, I would say, yeah, like, I think the only one who I kind of was friends with was Courtney. But the rest of them, like, I barely even knew their names. And these girls were like, no, you can absolutely scream to me. Like, come into my DMs and talk to me, because that's one of my favorite series. It was awesome. Like, that's all I had to do was just tweet out, like, hey, I'm looking for someone to talk to about this book, about this series, because I'm reading it for the first time and I don't have anyone to scream to. So, yeah, like, I made new friends through that. And I mean, you know, like, it won't always work. Like, I have buddy read things with people before and then never talked to them again. Like, but it's all about making connections. And so, like, you could buddy read something or be chatting with someone and you could find out that you don't really like them. Like, or maybe they don't like you, you know, or it's mutual or whatever. Not everyone's going to get along. But, you know, like, just because that happens, or if that happens, like, that's not a reason to, like, give up. Like, you can still make friends. You know, that person wasn't, like, your only shot at having a best friend. So yeah, just move on if that happens, and don't get discouraged, and just keep doing what you're doing, because you will find your people. The only other kind of tip that I have is, like, when you're using Twitter, just be conscious to create a positive space for yourself on your timeline. A lot of people complain about the amount of drama on Twitter, on book Twitter rather. But honestly, like, I don't see a lot of it. Or if I do see it, I tend to just scroll past. But you are creating your own space. So if you are seeing things that you don't like, or there are people that are, you know, being toxic, or that you're not interested in hearing from, mute, unfollow, block. Do what you have to do to make sure that your timeline and your Twitter experience is a happy one. Okay? Because it makes all the difference. So if you have consistently done all these things and none of it has worked, and you still feel, like, lonely in the community, you still have me. I do have friends, but I'm always open to having more friends. So feel free to comment, follow me on Twitter, and jump into my DMs. Like, I will be your friend. Absolutely. I hope this helps anyone who's struggling. Like, if even one person made a friend from watching this video, it would just make me really happy to hear that. So if you have any tips or, like, experiences making bookish friends that you want to share, feel free to put those in the comments. But, you know, that's all I have for you today. So see you next time, and happy reading.